Gas lockers. Before you work in any locker, it's always important to make sure that if you're going into the locker, that there's no way the locker can lock with you in it. That may sound really simple, but you'll be amazed how many people always talk about the time they got stuck in a locker. This boat hasn't got a dedicated gas locker, and in doing so, the owners have tried to create a gas locker inside this locker. Now, I'll be honest with you, it's not the greatest idea, especially with the way it's been done. So I've seen boats before now where they've got either a gas locker in the end of the cockpit which flows overboard where the drains are above the waterline, or they've been put on the transom, or someone's made a proper locker inside here which is dedicated for the gas bottles. In this case, they've created a timber drawer effect, which you might need to get a bit closer to have a look at. It's not even fiberglass lined. So there's no guarantee it's leak proof. The vent is on the side here on a sort of pigtail of hose which then goes through the transom. I quite often like doing a bucket test with some water to see if actually, if you were to chuck the water in here, if it would actually stay in the container and flow through the hose, or if it would leak everywhere. I suspect, looking at this, it's the latter. It's going to leak everywhere if we were to chuck some water into it. The gas hoses on this are horrendous, dated 1999. State of the cracking in the hose. Basically, it's recommended to change gas hoses like this every 5 years. Some people say 10, but frankly, for the sake of a couple of quid's worth of hose, don't see the point in the argument. It's a mess of hoses down here. Gas and gas lockers, very briefly, gas systems should be checked. In my view, a gas safe marine engineer is worth employing to do a proper gas system check. This hose on this boat is actually dated 19th of July 1999. The hose, as you can see there, is quite perished, and really it shouldn't be used. The gentleman who owns this boat has made a bit of a DIY gas locker using a plywood box with a hole in the side of it to relieve the water and the fumes. I've taken one of the gas bottles out, but there's no lining in it. There's no fiberglass cloth lining, which I would have preferred to see. But something you can always do with any gas locker, doesn't matter what age boat you've got, is what I call a bucket test. So it's not like a bucket challenge, the ice bucket challenge with people, but basically if you put water in the top, the only place water should come out is through the deck drain, which is going through the stern end. You can see how it needs going out. But as I suspected, I didn't think it was watertight. Can you see the water running out the bottom there? Just there. So we know for a fact that this gas locker is pointless. It's not watertight at all. So all that palaver of making a hose and everything is pointless, because any gas fumes are going to leak into your boat. So I have got a gas sniff on board the boat, which I carry with me, a wand. You can buy them from quite a few outlets. They're only about 40 odd quid. And before we go and do any work inside the boat now, I will be going and just doing a bit of gas bilge check before I start work on inside the boat. But I've turned the gas off, but I think the bucket test is well worth it every time. Do it once a year, just make sure you know your gas locker is actually gas tight to your boat.